It's Jon Comouche from MYfm, and today we are coffee tasting with Jason Mraz.
Hey, hey, hey.
So, Jason, welcome to the MYfm Cafe here.
Thank you very much. I love a minimalist cafe.
Yeah, not too much decoration, except for this, which you brought because it was recently your birthday.
Yeah, I'm keeping it going. I heard when you have a birthday, you get like a week.
Yeah.
It's like a little window.
To celebrate?
Maybe a couple days before, maybe a few days after.
Some people think a month.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
A lot of the girls I hang out with are like, it's my birthday month.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you got to celebrate what you got to celebrate.
Yeah.
So today we're going to taste 3 different coffees. We're going to do a mild roast, a medium roast, and a bold roast. And each level is going to be paired with mild questions, some light questions, some medium questions, and then some bold questions.
Clever.
Are you ready to get caffeinated?
I am more than ready.
Have you had coffee already this morning?
Very little.
Okay, so we're just adding to the mix here.
That's right.
All right, so this is our mild roast today. I'm going to cheers you and get this started.
Cheers.
Is there ever a too much coffee for you during the day?
I don't think so. I'll even have espresso after dinner. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you can sleep after that?
No. No, I definitely go to sleep about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning grinding my teeth.
I believe it.
Like,
I can't have it afternoon. I think I was just talking to you about this. It just it affects me.
Yeah.
I also didn't ask. I'm kind of rude here. Do you use creamer with your coffee?
No.
Okay, I figured.
I drink coffee black.
Yeah. Do you feel slightly better than everyone?
Definitely.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Me too. I recently got into that, and then I went back to this creamer phase because I feel like it just makes it more enjoyable, but I do think you miss out on the coffee.
You miss out on what is potentially there for you because coffee is a cherry. It's a fruit.
Is that true?
It is true.
I didn't know that.
Yep. It is a beautiful little cherry, and it's inside of that is the bean, is the seed. And so when you harvest the fruit, you have a bean that's coated in sugar, like just covered in this gelatinous goo, and that's all the flavor potential of your coffee. And that ferments on the bean. And then after a few months, you peel all that parchment, that fermented sugar off, and you're left with what looks like a popcorn kernel of a seed.
Right.
Very tiny, very hard. You couldn't chew it if you tried.
But this is not the bean we see in the bags. This is prior to that.
This is prior to that.
Interesting.
Because then the roaster is going to take that bean. He's going to heat it up, just with heat only, and that bean's going to pop like popcorn. It's going to turn brown because it's roasted, and it's going to explode open, which is why it becomes so light and airy.
Interesting.
And hopefully the roaster brings back those sugary qualities from that cherry, and then we can taste them in the cup.
So then how do you know the difference between the light, medium, and bold roast?
Well, the light roast is not going to cook it as long.
Okay.
You're just going to get to what's called the first crack. And that's like as soon as they start to pop open, you're done. And the lighter the roast, the closer you are to the original flavor of those cherries. And so you get a more floral taste. Medium, you're riding the line between the floral and then what is dark roast, which is you've bailed on the cherry, and now you're trying to get more about the oil and the chocolate that's coming through the bean roasting process.
And the light roast actually has the most caffeine. Is that right?
No.
Really?
Caffeine is about extraction.
Okay.
So if you have a drip coffee, like that's dripping slowly, water's dripping through the filter, that is a longer extraction period. So you'll get in a full cup like this, we could get 200 to 250 milligrams of caffeine. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, a Red Bull's what, like
I think it's
70, 80 maybe?
In a smaller amount, too.
Yeah, in a small amount.
In there.
And that's what a shot of espresso is. It's about 70, 80 milligrams because the shot comes fast. The extraction rate is 30 seconds or less.
I love how knowledgeable you are about this, because coffee is one of my favorite things, and I don't really know much about it.
Sure.
I just drink it every day, and it just becomes part of this routine
that
I don't really know much about. And that kind of brings me to my first light roast question.
Cool.
Why coffee? What brought you into this world where you fell in love with this knowledge for coffee?
I grow coffee.
Yes.
I have a little fruit farm down in San Diego, and I bought it in 2004, and it was a monocrop of avocados.
And this is Fringe coffee?
Fringe coffee. Yeah. That's right. You can try California grown coffee at Fringe Coffee Company, fringecoffee.com. And I'd been growing avos and realized that I could do a lot more with this land. And what could I grow that is unique and possibly is only imported, right? Because we always want to eat locally. We want to act locally.
Right.
And eat locally and support our local businesses. And I noticed that coffee it's an export. I mean, it's an import. we do not grow coffee in the United States. We grow it in Hawaii and Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
But it does not grow in the mainland United States, and it never has in the 1,000-year history of coffee.
Interesting.
And that is largely due to the price, because coffee has always been grown in conflict regions and in other nations that don't have the labor.
It's cheaper.
It's much cheaper, right? So coffee's always been 25 cents, free refills. To grow coffee in California automatically raises the price because the price of labor and the price of water and things that these other countries don't have to pay for.
That kind of answers a question I think I had for you.
Okay.
So I was looking at your coffee online, and you have some very affordable coffees.
Okay.
There's a bag of coffee on there for $95
Yep.
for the small bag.
Yeah.
What does $95 coffee taste like?
Very good.
I bet.
And I only recommend it to those who love coffee.
Okay.
If you're going to get it and put milk and sugar in it, it's not the coffee for you.
Okay.
You know, you really should spend
You
your
gotta
money
enjoy it like
elsewhere.
this, like just in the mug.
Maybe just buy some Fringe coffee merch.
There it is.
You know,
Yeah.
instead. But yeah, it's all light roast because we really want you to appreciate the taste of California coffee and the floral beauty and brilliance of what's going on here. So it is a new crop to the United States, and we do hope to have more and more farms come online that can help us grow it so that you can walk into a cafe and you can choose California coffee as one of your options.
Yeah, we were looking for a place to get Fringe before this, and this was kind of a last-minute idea here, but it is kind of hard to find.
Yeah, it's seasonal.
Yeah.
Right? We harvest in the summer. It has to sit through the fall. We're lucky sometimes if we can get a batch out before the end of the year, but it does take a little bit of time.
So in the early Jason Mraz days, you performed in a lot of coffee shops. Is that right?
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly coffee shops.
So I'm kind of wondering, do you have in your mind a picture of what makes the perfect coffee shop? Because I think going through college when I was studying, I think there were things I looked for. Like I wanted a coffee shop with a vibe to it, but like still some outlets for me to plug into. So I'm kind of wondering what makes a good coffee shop to Jason Mraz.
Thanks. I walk in and I look at the espresso machine first.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want to make sure that what they're pulling, they're taking care of their machine, and how are they steaming? Are they putting milk in and pressing a button and walking away, or are they staying with the steam and holding it and really recognizing the temperature of things? So that's what I look for first. In the environment, anything goes because there's so many different layouts.
Right.
I always loved performing in a coffee shop. Sometimes there'd be a little space, like almost a separate room that keeps you separate, your microphone separate from the steam wand and the espresso and the
Right.
grinder and all that.
So you're not getting the interference?
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, the coffee shop I played in, Java Joe's, I could see the barista.
Where was Java Joe's?
Ocean Beach, San Diego.
Okay, we had one in Yorba Linda. I'm not sure if it's the same Java Joe's, but it was called Java Joe's, and I went there all the time as a kid.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think Java Joe's a pretty common name in coffee.
You would think so, yeah.
But we're the OG. We're the original Java Joe. I mean, if you see him, he's Java. You know,
Right.
you talk to Java.
So I want to hit you with two more light questions. First, I want to know about San Diego. Do you love San Diego?
I love it.
Because that's what I hear. And growing up in Southern California, I've been so close to it, but I've never really spent a lot of time until this year, to be honest. And I
Okay.
went down there, and for some reason, I was like, this is the real Southern California. Like, it's so weird to think that, but it just seems more laid back. And I think what people not from California think California is feels like San Diego to me.
Well, let's make them all think Bakersfield is
Yeah,
the
go
real
there.
SoCal.
That's where I was born, actually.
Oh, is it?
Beautiful place.
Beautiful place.
Oasis, palm trees.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah.
San Diego, not so much. Yeah, I love it. I'm from Richmond, Virginia originally. Came out to the West Coast in '99 on an adventure. Started in San Francisco, came down through LA, ended up in San Diego. And same thing. When I got there, I thought, this is everything you imagine from magazines and your idea of SoCal.
So last here, I got to ask. In your home, how many hats do you have?
Hats off to you, because that's a good question.
I just every time I see photos of you, videos, you're in a different one.
I do get rid of them after a while
Okay.
because I would have too many. But I have a
Do you
I have
have
a
like a
nice
hat closet? Like,
collection.
how do they look in your
Yeah,
home?
I have a hat closet.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's not specifically for hats, but yes,
There's a
I have.
portion.
I have some shelves that are my hat display. That way, I can. It's easy now, you know.
Yeah.
Prior to my hat closet, it was just like a stack of hats
I believe it.
in a box, you know.
All right, let's get into the medium roast next.
Okay.
All right, back with the medium roast here. Do a little cheers.
Yeah. So I really liked the light roast.
It wasn't bad.
It was a good flavor, and the questions were easy.
Yeah, that's typically how it's supposed to go. But my question, this isn't even a medium roast question. I'm just curious. What is your favorite roast of coffee? Is it a light, medium, or bold?
It's a light.
Is it really?
Yeah, I stick with light. If I'm doing espresso, I'll go maybe a little more medium.
Right.
But I never go bold because bold tastes burnt to me.
I love that taste. I want to go back to the light, and I'm trying to get used to it, but it's difficult. I think I'm just so used to bold coffee that it's hard to transition.
If you grew up on bold, then you're used to it like slapping you in the face.
Yeah, that's what I like.
And asking you for forgiveness.
Yeah, pretty much. So getting into the medium questions here, I kind of want to talk about the music. So your album, now out, it's called Mystical, Magical, Rhythmical, Radical Ride. Yeah. Why?
Because for so many reasons. You want to hear people say it.
Yeah.
I want listeners, fans, people who buy the album, people who ask for the album to have to say these 13 syllables and
it almost feels like
out.
a litmus test.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you like the new album? What's it called?
Yeah.
Like, are you a Jason Mraz fan?
That's right. And because, you're also delivering up songs that you hope people sing. So the title is just a warm-up. Mm-hmm. If you break down the title, it's really life. I'm constantly mystified by life. I don't know what's going on, but it's a miracle that we're here at all. It's magic. The rhythmical nature of it gives me hope that I'll get another chance to try again, like our seasons come around or the sun comes up every day. And the whole purpose of it being a ride is for us to enjoy it, So
you specifically went through and picked these verbs for a reason, or adjectives.
I did, and these verbs, these words are a lyric in the middle of the album as well. So if you listen to the album top to bottom, you will come across the album title at some point.
Yeah.
And basically describing what I've just described, but in a cute little sonnet.
This is not so much a question, more as it is a statement. I just had to tell you, pancakes and butter.
Delicious.
My God, delicious is the perfect description for that song.
Thanks.
Like, I've been through some of your music lately, but pancakes and butter, has me feeling some type of way.
Thanks.
I just want to do romantic things to that song. I just want to it just puts you in a mood.
Woo!
How do you come to write a song like that?
I was in a good mood. It started with the guitar riff, and it felt so good to land on that G major 7.
Do you know when you land on it?
Yeah, I knew when I land on it. Like, it's like the D chord playing the scale, and then you land on the G major 7, and it was so smooth. And that triggered something that kind of unlocks, like a waterfall in your head. It just unlocks all this dopamine to give you, which then sort of unlocks other song ideas within it. And I personally feel like so accomplished on this song. This is one of my favorite songs I've ever recorded.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. Because every song, you want to get it right.
Right.
And there are so many variables, and you don't always get it right. You get close. You're like, oh, it came out great, but the demo had this, and the new one doesn't have this.
Right.
There was no demo of Pancakes and Butter. It was just like...
It was what it was.
It was what it was, and it just got so saucy, so good, so juicy.
Yes.
So fast, and all the way down to, I think the last thing I put on it was the synth solo in the middle.
Yes, dude.
And I had been playing guitar and looking for a guitar solo, but it sounded too what you'd expect. Like this rockin' little guitar solo or bluesy guitar solo. It just wasn't working. So I switched to the synth and ended up playing this simple line that then transformed the whole experience for me, because I love Kraftwerk and I love Air, Moon Safari, that album. And so I always wanted to have a bit of like cosmic synthesizer cruising through the song space as well. This
is one of those songs for me that I feel like isn't a background song. Like, I can't listen to it in the background because when I was first listening to it, I think I was getting some work done on the weekend. I had the song on, and it's one of those songs that makes you stop. And you're like, wait a minute, Jason.
Thanks.
Like, this is... I feel like it's...
Wow,
when you look
such
up
a
your songs
compliment.
on the streaming services... I think it's going to be like, I'm Yours, It's Lucky, and I Want Pancakes and Butter up there.
Thank you.
It is so good.
Let's do it. Let's start the Pancakes and Butter campaign.
I will lead the charge.
Thank you.
What has been your favorite song to make on the album, if there is one?
That one was great. Feel Good Too was a blast because that was the one song that we wrote in the studio.
Okay.
I had a riff that I was playing on my guitar. It was basically the bass line. And we all loved it. We just wanted to dance around to that riff forever. And we did for months and months and months. And by the time we got to the studio, we said, we still got to like figure that song out because we love dancing around to it. There's got to be something to it. So we all dove in and wrote it in the studio. So there was a sense of accomplishment because I rarely go into a studio unprepared. You know, I want to know what I'm recording. So
I hear it's expensive to be in a studio, so that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it was the last song we recorded.
Oh, really?
Because we knew, like, hey, we got to give it a shot. Let's put it down. We figured out an arrangement even before I had the words. Let's just get it going. And every time we would put it down, I would make stuff up on the mic as a possibility. And so every time we recorded it, I'd add more things to it and add more things. And so there was this really wonderful feeling of accomplishment by the end to hear what everyone was liking about this in the process, and where we ultimately ended up.
And to see it all come together.
See it all come together. It's different than any other song on the record. It's, I don't know. Just to answer your question, Feel Good Too was
I love it.
Yeah,
so that kind of brings
favorite.
me to my last question. And aside from your music, what are you listening to in your free time? Because I imagine you listen to your songs a million times.
Yeah.
So what does Jason Mraz listen to? At least currently.
Wow. I live in a constant state of discovery or rediscovery.
I love that. So you're finding new things all the time?
All the time. I'd mentioned synthesizer here earlier, but I drove here last night listening to Kraftwerk's Tour de France, and it's just a brilliant synthesizer record. Prior to that, I was listening to Tripping with Niels Fromm. Do you know him?
I don't think so.
He's a brilliant pianist, synth composer. That's a gorgeous record recorded live.
I grew up playing the piano, so anything piano or synth is like gonna speak.
Tripping with Niels Fromm.
It's on the list.
I highly recommend it. And you can even watch it. It's on Mubi, M-U-B-I, which is a brilliant art and music app. So you can see the entire album as well be performed live.
I'll have to check that out, dude.
So I just like to constantly be given new directions to go listen to.
Right, to be re-inspired in some ways. Yeah, I love that. All right, let's move on to the dark roast.
All right, dark. Here we go,
and
dark
we're
roast.
back with the dark roast.
All right.
Nice and easy here.
Yep.
See, this is my wheelhouse.
It's a little bold.
Yeah, it's no Fringe. It's
Thanks
no
for saying
coffee.
so. Fringecoffee.com.
So I kind of want to hit you with some bold questions here. And I'm starting with a question that's my favorite question to ask just people in general.
Okay.
And you can answer this as deep or as lighthearted as you want. Jason Mraz, what's your biggest fear?
Ooh, do I have a biggest fear? Yeah, it's like tripping and knocking my teeth out on the edge of a coffee table. Yeah.
Good thing this is round. I guess there's still an edge here, so that doesn't help too much.
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest fears. Just like, knocking my teeth out for some reason.
That's a better one. For me, it's like I'm so scared to look in the mirror one day and see a 90-year-old guy looking back at me.
Oh, you're going to be such a cute 90-year-old guy.
I hope so, man. There are some of those filters that'll show you what you look like when you're older. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if I'm happy about that.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
Well, you got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride, my friend.
Would like to believe so.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time that you almost quit doing music?
All the time.
Really? Even still?
Yeah. Yeah. There's this feeling when you finish a record or a batch of songs, you almost feel like you just ran a race or something. And you're like, oh, I did it. And I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm not going to put myself through that.
So then what gets you back into it?
I can't help it. I just fall right back into it. Yeah, I love doing it so much.
I love that.
Yeah, so I think I quit because there's either some fear or insecurity that I won't be able to top what I've done in the past. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to just end while I'm on a high note. But then I sit down at a piano or guitar and something comes up. I'm like, I got to share this.
Yeah. I'm not doing it for the hit anymore. I'm doing it because I need to release.
Yeah.
What is Jason Mraz like on a bad day? I feel like you sing about positivity so much. Like you have this radiating positive energy about you.
Thanks.
But that can't be all the time. What are you like on a bad day?
I either go real quiet, you know, I just kind of keep it to myself
The
because
internal guys, that's me.
I don't want my bad day to rub off on anybody else because they're not having a bad day and they shouldn't because I'm having a bad day.
Right.
And if I'm not quiet, I type in all caps.
Really?
You know, it kind of lets people know I'm having a bad day.
See, do you type in all caps when you're excited as well?
No.
Because I make that mistake and people can't tell.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Dude,
Yeah.
I hear you 100%.
Sorry about that. Sorry for those who've received my all caps emails.
At least you know, like it was definitely a bad day for you.
Wasn't personal.
What has been the proudest moment in your career so far?
Having a coffee tasting duo with Jon here.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
I mean, what other interview provides me 3 cups of coffee?
I don't even need the cards. We're just gonna end it after
and
that.
then
almost.
everything we're talking about is me.
I
I
love
mean,
that so much.
what an easy conversation
Dude,
to have.
I appreciate you. Well, cheers to
Thank
that.
you.
We don't have to go cups, so you either got to waste it or chug it at this point. But I do want to say, Jason, thank you so much for sitting down in our makeshift cafe here.
I love it.
The new album is out now. Go stream it, Jason Mraz.
Thanks for listening.